Hi, I am Karen Frank, and I am president of our consumer care sector for KAO across the Americas and Europe, as well as an executive officer for KAO Corporation. I was just announced last year as the first non-Japanese female executive officer, so I am thrilled to be able to have that position. I was asked to speak to you all a little bit about how my gender empowers me versus limits me. And I'm super excited to be part of this conversation and very excited about our partnership with the GGL. I feel like this is an exciting time to be a woman, and I just am thrilled to be able to share some of my career lessons with you all. I will give you a quick history. I started in 1986 selling hospital medical supplies, and I did that for American Hospital. Only did it about a year, but that certainly was a male-dominated industry from my customers who were mostly men in terms of the doctors. I did also have conversations with nurses and others that tended to be more of the women, but most of the decision makers were the men. Then I moved after just a short year to P&G, and I was there for 11 years. And I did a lot of growing up at P&G. And while the organization was much more balanced between women and men, most of the leaders were men. And some of the women that were in leadership positions just really weren't women that I would look at as role models. And I'll speak a little bit more about that later. And then after 11 years at P&G, I had my own business. Actually bought a brand from Procter & Gamble and ended up launching it on my own. I raised venture capital money, hired a team, and launched the brand nationally in a customer, regionally, and then also locally in a couple of other smaller customers. And that was quite the learning experience. I ended up selling it to a group out of Chicago. But that was probably some of the toughest lessons I learned in business, but also I feel like where I probably advanced my career the most just because I had to do so many different things. Following that, I did a little bit more consulting in the entertainment marketing world, evaluating entertainment properties for companies to see if they wanted to either acquire them or be partners with them. And then I came to KAO in 2019. And I am so glad that I did because KAO has just been a wonderful, I think, I'll say another chapter, not a final chapter in my career. So how do I have my gender empower me versus limit me? I just wanted to share maybe 3 thoughts on that topic. And the first one is around our consumers. So 85% of our shoppers and most of our end users are women. And so I've always felt like, as a woman in this industry in particular, we had an advantage. We just intuitively understand how women shop, how women think, and also how to communicate effectively to women. So I feel like as users of the products, we're the end receivers of the messages we're trying to share about our products and about our brands. I feel like as a woman, you have an advantage. You intuitively know what it takes to make a sale to another woman. So that's kind of one space that I've always felt like we certainly had an advantage. The second space was about me really growing up, I would say, in mostly at P&G, but throughout my whole career. And that was about really finding my authentic self and understanding who I wanted to be in the business world. So at P&G, there were women leaders, but I often felt like they were emulating more of the male styles or making so many compromises in their personal lives to gain what they wanted to in their career that it just wasn't something I was interested in doing the same way. So I made a decision that I would be my authentic self and felt like that was the true way, the only way to really be able to leverage what I had to bring to my various roles. And I think that has worked really well for me. I think if you talk to people who have worked with me or worked, for me or I've worked for, I think I am super authentic and, that comes with good and bad, but I think that has made me successful because I don't waste time worrying about how I should be acting or worrying about how others are acting because I really do try to bring my authentic self to my role every single day. And I think that has really enabled me to be much more effective in what I've done in my career. The third thing I would say is I feel like as women, and me in particular, that I have some secret superpowers. You'll always hear me talk about my people in my organization are my superpower, and I believe that they are. But I also think it's important as women for you to understand what you think your superpowers are. And so for me, my superpowers are really about intuition. I feel like I see things quickly, and I think I understand things often much faster than anyone in the room, and certainly I would say more than my male counterparts, just because I just get a feeling of whether something is going to work or not. And I've always really considered that my superpower. And while I won't necessarily react right away, I have then the ability to be able to formulate how I'm thinking about something, how I'm feeling about something. I have more time to prep how I'm going to respond to something because I just intuitively get where something needs to go. I also feel like at KAO and just in the world in general, having high EQ, understanding, the other people in the room and what motivates them, and be able to read those signals very quickly and adjust how you're presenting, how you're negotiating, how you read others is just another superpower that I feel like I bring to the table. And then I also think, collaboration skills. It's tough sometimes, I think, to be in a business environment because people feel like it's got to be win-lose. And I definitely don't. I think it's all about win-win and collaborating for those best solutions. And finally, I'll say communication. I think this goes back to being your authentic self, because I think when people communicate, what they're really looking for is that person being transparent? Is that person being honest? Is that person being authentic? And if you're over-prepared or you're using other people's words, I just don't think that works as hard for you. So I've always found that as part of bringing my authentic self, the way I communicate is the way I communicate. And I feel like, and I hope that I come across super authentic and super as I am. So that is it. That's all I wanted to share. Those are my 3 lessons. You are the user, be your authentic self, and use your superpowers. Thank you.